Okay, we're going to take a minute here and tell you what we're doing. Anybody that's ever had to try to run a wire on an older vehicle from the door into the passenger compartment knows that you're going to run into a little rubber beast that will thwart many. It's not as hard as it seems. I've looked for videos on this online, and I'm a little surprised that nobody's ever posted one. So let's see if I can make one here for you. I'm going to be changing this around and showing you what I'm talking about, and then I'll be pausing in between steps. All right, here's the little doobie we're talking about. This lovely little beast right here is a tunnel. It's rubber, goes from the interior of the truck out into the door, and of course the wire ends up coming out here. So let's get started on the steps that you need to make this work. All right, we're going to start here with a piece of mechanics wire. This stuff is used for everything. Hanging your exhaust back up when it falls down, when you're trying to hold the caliper up out of the way and you don't want to stress the hose, mechanics wire. It's your best friend. Anybody that's in the industry, has been, knows what this stuff is and uses it. What I've done is I've created a loop at the end of it. It's to give it a round area so that it'll push through without hanging up. Then sliding the speaker wire into it, you can see that now I have that held pretty well in place. From here, we're going to put a little bit of electrical tape in a couple of places on it, and then we'll go to the next step. All right, now I've cut a few short pieces of mechanics wire, of electrical tape. They're going to go around the speaker wire and good and tight around your mechanics wire. You don't want to make them too big because you want to try to avoid anything hanging up while you're going through. That, and the reason that I'm putting 4 on here is I don't want to be too far between them because I want that tape to hold as much of the wire to the more rigid mechanics wire so that it's not going to pull off while I'm passing through. Now, we've got this down to where I've got a good handle left over, a long piece of that mechanics wire. When I go to pull through, or if it comes loose, I can pull it back out again. I've still got plenty on the outside to get that back out. But now I've got a semi-rigid piece of speaker wire that, when we're ready, will go through that rubber boot relatively easily. Okay, now here's our next piece of fun. One of the wonderful things that our boys at Ford did was when they put this thing together, they decided to wrap the whole damn thing in tape at the end. You can see some of it here, I hope. It's almost impossible to get through. Need for that? Well, there isn't one. That boot is going all the way inside of the door and all the way into the interior. So cut that piece of tape away. Peel that off of there. You don't want it. You don't need it. Takes a few minutes to do it. So I'm going to pause again. Once I get it off, I'll show you where we're going next. All right, that actually took longer than probably getting this wire through there is going to take. And here we go. And keeping this contemporary, here's your little Huck Tua moment. Because whoever that young lady was, yes, honey, that'll work. However, some good old-fashioned Vaseline might be the better way. And the reason for that, you want that to slide in there with as little resistance as you can possibly have. So, lubing up the end of it, running that down the wire just a little bit, will make your job just a little simpler. same time, it's a good idea to have some paper towels handy because you're going to make a mess. But as you can see, I've now exposed that end. The old wires are still there, but I can get through what's left here. This is going to go right up through there, and you're going to have to work it just a little bit. And it's going to bend when you finally get up in here. Now, when you get up into those sections of the accordion part, you're going to have to bend it just a little. And I think I'm already inside. I will know that in just a moment. I did feel it go past pretty much everything here. I could pull this out, take a look, but there's really no need. I've just got to fish around up in there, find that wire, and pull it through. And we're back. And I now have, you can see it passing through here. The speaker wire is now inside, through the rubber boot. All that's left now, I'm going to pull this the whole way through. It's going to come because I taped it up. Whoop, sorry about that. Did not mean to knock you over like that. Sort of forgot the wire might do that. Anyway, it's going to take a little bit of doing to get that up through there. But now I have the wire fully inside the vehicle, through the boot, so it will be protected from the elements. All I've got to do now, put this end of the wire back through the hole where that boot is, put the boot back in place, get everything sealed up there, wire up the speaker. All right. I may have to cut one piece of this out because I might be duplicating it. Have this all the way through now. It's pulled through the boot. Now I've got to put this wire back and the boot back in place into the door, rewire the speaker. This wire is set to go to the amplifier. I've decided to do all of that because I had problems with the head unit. So I've pulled all of that out of there and I've run all new wires for everything from the head unit to an amplifier that I'm putting in, the amplifier to brand new speaker wires going all the way back out to the door. You have another boot very similar to this up front, and if you're looking for a constant power source, you're going to have to do a similar thing. That one is a lot simpler, but the end result is that regardless, you're going to need to get through some of these rubber boots. That's the easier way to do it. A little bit of lubrication on a wire that has been, the speaker wire that has been put onto a more solid piece of mechanics wire that will be enough to get around and flexible enough to get around corners, but still solid enough to be able to be pushed through. You're not going to be able to do that with speaker wire alone. I hope this helps and somebody gets something out of it.